Hey guys, welcome back to Jeepin with Kinsley. Today we're going to be replacing this. That usually works on YouTube. Let's try it again. Gonna be replacing this. Hey, it worked. Let's do it. So guys, we are going to be replacing the high pressure line right here for the power steering pump, power steering line. The high pressure line goes from here down, back down there, over, back over there, and then it goes into this little mess right here, and that's the nut right there. Now you may be asking what this line right here is. That's for the return line, or the low pressure line for the power steering pump, or the power steering fluid. So that actually goes from right here, goes over the high pressure line, goes back down. Why? Who knows? Back up right there, and comes up here to the bottom where it's connected with just a little like hose clamp thing. Now that one we do not need to replace, but to get that the high pressure line off, since the low pressure line goes over the high pressure line, we have to disconnect that. Then we can take the high pressure line off. So, wish me luck. Alright guys, so first off, what we need to do is we need to remove this piece along with the whole box that this is in. And this is your air filter for your engine, okay? There's that. So, wow, you can see that a lot better now. As you can see, it's pretty clean down here right now because I hit it with the power washer yesterday. Okay guys, so your top one is a 5/8, okay, up here. And down here is actually an 18 millimeter. Right there. Now when you're doing this, if your power steering fluid is all still in here, and I have no way to get it out. I've seen people use vacuum pumps and little pumpy things to get it out. I don't have anything like that, so I'm just gonna let it float onto the ground. I'm just kidding. See that little yellow thing right there? That's my oil pan. I'm gonna have it drip down into there. So I'm just gonna break this loose. Yep, right there. Good. That broke loose a lot easier than I thought it would. So now for the bottom one, which is the 18 millimeter. Like I said before, guys, we're going to need to take off the low first, because you can get to the high without getting to the low like this, but you have like no room to spin or actually get any leverage on the, that's how much you can spin it. Oh, you can't really see. Alright guys, so we'll take our 18 millimeter, put it down here, and try to break our line loose for our low side. Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I got that broke loose. Thought I broke my camera too. But anyway, so let's see if I can use my hand. Honestly, nope. Okay. So this takes a little bit of finagling since it is such a small spot. You just have to have some patience with it. but there's literally no other way to get your high pressure off with this on there, unless you're like cutting hoses or you have a special wrench or something, I'm sure. So I am planning on reusing this low pressure line, so I am going to do my best not to break it. As soon as it starts, the fluid starts coming out, I'm going to move it up out of the way, hopefully so it'll drain right into my pan down there and not as much all over the power steering box and all that stuff. Okay, you can't see that. Well, maybe you can. I have the low level or the low pressure line leaking right there, going right in there. Release some pressure. Yep, it's coming out pretty steady now. Let me show you. So I undid the low pressure line. You can just barely tell right there, that little tiny line right there is it. Whoa, there it is. You can see a little better. That's fluid just slowly dripping out into there. So now I'm going to take out the top of the high pressure line and let it drip right there. And then, man, the high pressure line down here is almost loose enough to grab it with my fingers. Like I said, I'm not really worried about the high pressure line getting this one off. I just don't want to mess up the threads, because the threads for at least on the inside of the steering box I still need. I'm going to try and do it with my hand now. Oh, not oil all over it. Ooh, there it is. So after a minute you can just use your hands. Good times. Okay, so I'm unscrewing it. There we go. That's the high pressure line. So guys, we got the high pressure line off, and that's what it looks like. Pretty crazy. So guys, this little the new hose that I got, new high pressure line that I got, comes with these little O-rings in here. So we have to put the O-rings, okay, on here, but they have to go on this fitting right here. Now when you're putting this back on, you have to make for very certain that you don't cross thread the threads on there on the pump, or down there on the motor, or on these, because that means you need to get a new hose, which just costs like 30 bucks. I got mine at Checker O'Reilly, and I found later that if you get it online at rockauto.com, that it's like $7 plus shipping and handling and all that stuff, and I was like, man. So it would come out to like 13 bucks, I think it was, for shipping and handling and all that, but still. So you have to make sure you put the two little rubber gaskets on that little like nipple thing right there, to make sure that it's, well, it's good. So alright, so let's see if this angle works for y'all, see if you can see it okay. So this is the top of the high pressure line. And I left the bottom one just a little loose so it can wiggle a little bit more. And I'm just gonna get it in there. Like I said before, just by hand, because you want to make sure that you don't have any, and you're not stripping the So this one again, if you just kind of gently like move the hose just a little bit, it'll help you to it'll just relieve the tension on it, so you can get it into the right groove of the actual of the threading. It's kind of funny like that. Alright guys, so we're tightening the high pressure line right now. Oh, that's some dogs going crazy. Okay. So I tried to put the low pressure line back on just to make sure everything was fitting okay. And turns out, guess what? You can't tighten the high pressure line while the low pressure line is there still. So who would have guessed that one, right? I don't know. Not I. So I'm tightening this down. I remind you guys I did this by hand first as far as I could with my hand, and now I'm doing it with the wrench so that I didn't cross thread anything. Now a really quick side note, when you're tightening this on top and bottom, you make sure that this part right here isn't touching your this thing, because this thing gets very hot while your car's on. So, and that it's not, the hose isn't going to be impeding your drive shaft or your steering column here. So, because that's the part that turns the steering pump to, you know, make you turn. So you don't want it to impinge this, and you don't want it to impinge this either, or to touch this, because it'll get really hot and probably melt it really fast. So anyways, side notes are all done. Let's get back to the low pressure line. So low pressure line, bring it back up. Oy. Ooh. You see how dirty that is? I'm gonna wipe it off, clean up just a little bit. Oh, so I'm cleaning up just a little bit. My camera got moved, sorry, because threads are kind of gross in there. So remember guys, this goes up and around and then back down. Oh, you know what? I probably tightened this one just a smidge too much. So now it doesn't want to scoot just that little bit. There we go. Now that I got that moved, so it's where it needs to be, I'm going to tighten this one back up before. High pressure line was just a smidge too far over, so it wasn't letting the low pressure line go into that spot. So there's the low pressure line. Again, I'm going to start it with my hand. Alright, so now that's hand tight, we will tighten it with the wrench. Alrighty guys, now that we have all the lines tight and tightened up, make sure that none of the lines or none of the hoses are going to be touching the hot parts or the steering shaft there. We're going to add some fluid to this, and then we're going to start it up, give it a second, and then we're going to turn the wheel all the way. So ready, let's do it. It most of the way to show that because the fluid's going to need to go through this line all the way down through this tube, and then it's going to have to go through into the actual power steering pump down there, and then go back up the the low pressure line, which also it all drained in there, all that stuff. So now we're going to put this back on, and we're going to turn on the vehicle after I move some stuff. Alright, I forgot it was going to be that loud because we didn't have the air thing on. Alright guys, so we did the test run with it. We're going to now, we made sure that it's not leaking. And now we're going to put our air filter back on. Okay, now we're going to run it a little bit more and make sure it's not whining and stuff, and we'll add more if needed. So anyways guys, thanks again for watching Jeepin with Kinsley. That was fixing the high pressure line on your power steering pump. Please don't forget to leave a comment down below. Let me know if you have any questions about this or anything other pertaining to that. As well as don't forget to like and subscribe, and thanks again for watching. Have a great day.